Alright, so we're just going to be looking over these patch notes. I'll cover all of this stuff later. I just want to start covering with these patch notes. And I'll talk about this section later. New features on content. Super Sapper. Yeah, okay, looks fun. Always good to see more stuff in the game. I'm kind of sad that there's another achievement in the game because now I'm not maxed out for my achievements, but it'd be fun getting it and fighting them, I presume. Shield Mage, a mini boss that has a good defense and more puns, of course, because that's what this game needs, more puns, of course. Definitely not enough. Sounds fun. Should be... Yeah, it sounds really interesting. I look forward to fighting it. Stage 2 really did need another boss fight because some of the boss fight in particular with the bunch of snipers and the 600 health boss, that one's just absolutely nasty and easily destroys your runs. So Shield Knights have Shield Pegs now, which work in cool ways. Yeah, that sounds really good. There were some Shield Knight maps which they simply weren't as good as the other maps. Like, you could just beat the map and that'll be done. It's kind of nice to have a bit more variation. Even if you don't have just snipers on every map who just ping your health away. It sounds like they should actually be interesting and not just, oh look, I just beat this map because the enemies do nothing and they just try and walk towards me. Custom loadouts. Yeah, well, yeah. So the fast forward mechanic in Peglin is like one of the best mechanics they've ever added into Peglin. It changes game time drastically and it's just super good. Custom loadouts though, yeah, wow. This is so good, so fun. I can't wait to use it. Honestly, it sounds so amazing. This is definitely one of the best things they've added to the game. Etherwheel. Yeah, wow. So it's kind of just a refresh orb, but better. I hope. As long as it has more damage than the refresh orb, it should just be better than the refresh orb. Like, yes, the refresh orb can start a combo going, but especially with the nerf where it can only refresh up to 10 times per battle, it doesn't have any more like fun combo with like Gift of Giving or Glorious Suffering anymore. And Etherwheel just sounds like it's probably just going to be better, especially with I mean, hopefully it has good damage output. It has very little text, which you always hope that the less text, the more damage. I mean, this is really a hit or miss passive for me. Every 5 reloads will grant you 1 Mass Circle or 1 Spiness. If it's every 5 reloads, grants you 1 permanent Mass Circle or Spiness for the rest of the game, then I reckon it's really cool. If it's in the course of 1 battle, you'll get 1 Mass Circle or 1 Spiness for that battle. I don't see it being anything at all. It should be fun though. They've done a good job with adding new content into the game that's really interesting. Balance changes. Demon Wall Castle Boss HP reduced slightly. This is amazing. It's very annoying to have a run that's going reasonably well, and then you get to the Demon Wall Castle Boss, and he just walks up to you and he one-shots you, and you just lose. Because you couldn't deal the extra 600 damage that his massive health pool has. This is really good. Castle levels have had more yeah. This was just so needed. There are just some levels where just because you can't hit the bombs, or just because there aren't any bombs on the map, and just because you haven't been able to hit any good AoE damage, you lose. There's just nothing you can do. You can have a bunch of really strong passives, and you just lose. So I don't know where they're adding this, and I don't know how many they're adding, but I think this is a really good change. Mine's in, yeah. Crucible. So I'm not sure how much it made it harder in the Crucible run, but I really felt like in the mines, all the bunch of the enemies just had way too much HP, and it just took so long to get through them. And meanwhile, they're actually doing a lot of stuff, since mine enemies are way quicker than Phase 1 enemies and Phase 2 enemies. I mean, I wish I knew what this did. Sounds cool. Probably good for the game. Bomb added to a pegboard. Yep. Sounds good. More bombs across the place, the better. It just makes worse comps better, which is really what you want in games like this, because when you can't play your bad comps, then I mean, playing bad comps is what the fun in the game is. weighted chip. Yeah, so basically the entire reason why I would never take the weighted chip, even though it had a on average higher multiplier per shot on it, if you're playing a damage comp, and especially for like your AoE, and you would get 600 damage, and then you just land in the 0 times slot, you just do nothing, and then you can just die the next turn because you absolutely needed that hit. And changing it to be 2 0.5 slots is definitely way better. They deal navigation when damage when triggered. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like honestly, what's that? That's like a yeah no that is more than fine. Especially since since it deals navigation damage, the super navigation boots healing passive just got way better. Because before that passive is a bit, it's really very underwhelming. And now when you combine it with weighted chip, looks like you have a pretty sweet combo. Like halving your damage does still suck, but you don't take any bonus damage, and you should on average be getting more damage, unless they change the numbers. You should on average be getting more damage from it. Perfected Reactant changes from 20 to 15. I mean, Perfected Reactant was really nice in bomb comps, but generally it doesn't matter too much. I don't really get this change when you're talking just about bomb comps, but when you also add in the fact that there are just more bombs in like castle levels and the turned night mines, I guess it makes a bit more sense. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets like reversed or changed, since having a 10 bomb plus 10 damage bomb passive and having a plus 15 damage bomb passive, it feels a bit lackluster. Like I don't. Yeah. Critical pet conversion nerfed to 9/7. Yeah, I'm not surprised by this. Critical was much weaker a few patches ago when they nerfed Crismolosis, but you can still get insane damage on Crismolosis, and Critical is still very reasonable. And I'm not surprised if it's still enabling some crazy turns. Yeah, I've gotten crazy damage off Critical even after the Crismolosis nerf. That's just not a surprise. Jack-o'-lantern damage reduced. I love how they need to explain why the Jack-o'-lantern was nerfed. I think we all know why the Jack-o'-lantern was nerfed. It was incredibly strong. Like, wow, yeah. It could basically carry games on its own, and the fact that it got +1, +2, and a +1 loop every single upgrade is just so amazing. I'm interested to see what it's changed to. +1 +1 or +0 +1. Both would probably still be good, but it's definitely not going to be the menace that it was before. That being said, I love Jack-o'-lantern because just watching it continually fall from the top to bottom is just hilarious. Yeah, and then there's this, which I mean, I was surprised that when they reworked blind, it had the 10% flat miss chance in it anyway. But when you're running a blind comp, or when you're using blind passives or the blind orb, you really do rely on that +10% flat chance. Like, it makes a really big difference. And I just don't think you can do the fun Mimi blind comp anymore. And when I say Mimi blind comp anymore, I mean like it was really Mimi, like it was so bad. But this is a bit of a shame to see. I hope it gets changed or reversed in some way. Bug fix, yeah. Thank you so much. This is such a big change. Enemies should no longer get stuck at 0 HP. It's so annoying just having the health bar left behind. Like, sure, it does nothing, but it's still annoying. External refresh effects, refresh shield are less likely, yeah. So I never really noticed this, but buffing refresh and refresh shield, always nice. They're both good, but there are way better passives out there. Yeah. It was a bit crazy scrolling the parchment map before with speed up effect. Hopefully it gets changed to be much more reasonable. Sounds good. Not sure how much I'll use this. I think it was a bit janky before, but like I never really noticed. And when you're running the game at 3 times speed, you kind of expect a bit of jankiness when you're swapping in and out of 3 times speed. Yep, okay. This looks cool. I'm not sure how much I'll use that. Then we go to the latest one from yesterday. Yeah, good. It really does need to be like this, though. That's the thing. Super Boots is... I mean, hopefully with Weighted Chip and Super Boots, both of them should be considerable. Because before it was just like, I don't really want either of them. Enhanced Gunpowder and Refreshing Punch have been fixed. I'm not sure how they were broken, but hopefully they weren't nerfed too badly or at all, because they're both really fun and they kind of really help out damage comps, and they're both very strong. Flying Sappers now attack and detonate correctly. So I'm not sure what Flying Sappers are. I presume it's the explosive bombs that move, but it sounds good. Stumps are now properly counted as plants. Yeah, sure. Like, I think they're doing the things the wrong way around. The plus 10 damage to plants and plus 10 damage to slimes, those two passives, they were cool in the demo, and when they came out, they were definitely good passives. And then the game got released, and they added in plus 2 phases, and then they added in a bunch more different encounters for, including like bats enemies and all that stuff in phase 1, and now they're really just, I don't know why you're ever happy when you get them, especially since you can get them in waves 2 and phase 2 and phase 3, which they're completely useless in phase 2 and phase 3. As far as I can remember, there aren't any slimes or plants in phase 2 or phase 3, which is just unfortunate. I'm not sure what this does, but it sounds cool. Blind description has been fixed to match updated mechanics. Yeah, good. Hopefully it's gets changed sometime soon, because I want to be able to run my fun janky blind comp, which does nothing against bosses. And then if you're going to read the patch notes, I would suggest you read all of this Tiny Team stuff. It's great to see what Tiny Teams is doing for smaller games on Steam.